Hello guys, welcome to Ray's Sports News and Debates. Okay, in today's video, we're going to be going over our NFL predictions for the 2023-24 season, our surprises, our upset, who's getting in, who's getting out, in about 15 to 16 minutes. But let's get into the video, guys. Okay, we're going to do the NFC side. I think the NFC side is a little bit more easier to predict than the AFC side, so we're going to start with that side. In the NFC South, I think the Saints are going to win this division. Tampa Bay, they made Baker the starter. I don't think that's going to last long. I think Kyle Trask is going to be the starter by Game 5, Game 6. Atlanta's still getting, they're still in a rebuild. I hope my boy Bijan from UT does great this year. Predicting him to win Offensive Rookie of the Year this year. And the Panthers, I think, will take a step forward, but not to win the division. I think Bryce Young is the perfect fit for that system. That defense is elite, but I think Derek Carr, if they get anything out of Michael Thomas, Chris Olave is a bona fide wide receiver. But yeah, we're going with the Saints there. The NFC North, this one's a little hard to predict. Fourth place, I'm going to go with Green Bay. I don't believe in Jordan Love. They have to go with him now since Rodgers is in playing for the Jets. The defense is still, a top 6, top 5 defense in the league, but unfortunately you're going to have to score points, and I don't believe in Jordan Love to do that, especially with the weapons that he has. Third place, this was tough, but I went Chicago. I think Chicago will take a step forward this year, but it's not going to be enough, I think, to make the playoffs. I want Justin Fields to prove me wrong because I don't believe in him as a thrower of the football. I know he can run. The whole league knows that he can run, but he needs to prove that he can throw the ball. You have a legit number 1 guy now in DJ Moore. You have no excuses. Okay? But moving on, number 2, I'm gonna go Minnesota. I don't think that division is theirs anymore. I think them losing Dalvin Cook is going to hurt. Now there have been rumors. Jonathan Taylor asked for a trade. I think him going to Minnesota would be absolutely phenomenal, and they'd be a Super Bowl contender. But without Jonathan Taylor, I think Minnesota barely gets into the playoffs at this point. And number 1, I'm going to go to the Detroit Lions. Out of any team in this division, the Lions have the most heart. From where they started last year to ending the season above 500, Dan Campbell has done an amazing job with that team, and I am really eager to see them progress this season. I think the division's wide open. I do think the Lions overall have gotten a lot better, especially on the defensive end. But we're going to see. We have Detroit Lions. The NFC West, I think this is pretty clear. San Francisco's winning that division fairly easy. They made the right decision in making Brock Purdy QB1. I read Sam Darnold has won the quarterback 2 job, which means Trey Lance at best is quarterback 3, and he might not be on the roster. And that sucks for Trey Lance, but I mean, Brock Purdy was the right choice. I like Seattle. I think Seattle's going to be another decent team this year. I think they take a step back this year. A lot of people are going to have more tape on Geno, and I think they're going to have a better way to shut down Seattle's offense. Arizona doesn't have Kyler. Colt McCoy is going to be the quarterback for a majority of the season. And I like Colt McCoy, but they lost D-Hop, and they're going to finish last in the division. NFC East, I'm going to go Washington 4. I think at some point, Jake Fromm is going to be the starting quarterback of this team. At some point, 3, I'm gonna go Giants. I don't believe in this team. I like Saquon. I don't believe in Daniel Jones. Danny Dimes. He had a breakout year, but it was a contract year. So obviously you're going to perform in your contract year. But I need to see him do it, back-to-back years and not just, 1 year out of the gate. Number 2, okay, my first surprise. I'm going to go Philadelphia. I don't think Philadelphia is nearly the same team, especially defensively, that they were last year. They lost a lot of guys to free agency in the offseason. And, yes, their offense is going to stay the same. Jalen Hurts is going to be Jalen Hurts. They have one of the better wide receiver duos in the league with A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. And their running backs, you could interchange them all. They're all great. But I'm going Dallas Cowboys win the NFC East. They got better offensively and defensively this year. They added Brandon Cooks to be their wide receiver 2 under CeeDee Lamb. And they added Stephon Gilmore in the quarterback field to guard your second best wide receiver. Okay, Stephon Gilmore is going to be guarding your second best wide receiver with CeeDee guarding their best wide receiver. But yeah, some of 4 division winners: Cowboys, Saints, Lions, and 49ers. My 3 wild card teams. This was tough. I'm going to go Minnesota gets in, okay, as that number 5. Number 6, I'm going to go Philadelphia. I still think Philly makes the playoffs. I just think their defense is going to get a little exposed this year. And 7th, and really a surprise, I'm going to go Carolina. I don't know how they do it. I like the direction of the football team and how the franchise is going. I'm eager to see what Bryce Young is going to do this year as a starter. I think they squeak in. Like I said, I don't know how, or, maybe some technicalities or some tiebreakers, but I think Carolina gets in. Okay. I think my NFC Championship game is going to be a rematch of the divisional round. I think it's going to be the Cowboys. I think it's going to be the 49ers. I do think this year, and I've never said this as a Cowboys fan, I think the Cowboys are coming out of the NFC. It's, if they can get home field advantage and get that number 1 overall seed, man, and you got to go through Dallas. I think it's going to be hard for San Francisco to win on the road. I think the offense will be better. I think the defense, they played phenomenal in that NFC division round against Brock Purdy. Limited him to 19 points. Prescott was just throwing interceptions left and right. But I think Dak's going to be better this year. I think he's going to take a step forward this year. I think he's going to have an MVP-type caliber season. And I think the Cowboys come out of the NFC. AFC, we're going to start with the easy divisions. I think Trevor Lawrence and that team, the Jacksonville Jaguars, I think they win the division fairly easily. I like that the Titans got D-Hop, and they have Derrick Henry. And for those 2 reasons, they're an immediate contender to win the division. But, Trevor Lawrence, second year under Doug Peterson, they're going to be better, and I think they win that division. The AFC East, now this is tough. This was extremely tough, but I'm going to go Patriots at 4. I'm going to go the Buffalo Bills at 3. I think the Bills take a step back. Every season since they went to the AFC Championship game, they've taken a step back progressively. They were at the AFC Championship game. Then they lost the nail-biter in the divisional round a couple years ago. They got blown out in the divisional last year. And I think they missed the playoffs altogether. Stephon Diggs doesn't want to be there anymore. I think he's just doing it out of obligation because he wants money, but he don't want to be there. And Josh Allen, I see the hype, but I need to see the results. Okay, I know he's a great player, but I need him to prove that to me in the playoffs, not in the regular season. Number 2, it's close. It's extremely close. But I'm going to go with the New York Jets. I don't think the Jets win the division this year. I think they win it next year. But first year, Aaron Rodgers in that system, I think the first couple of weeks are going to be a little bit rough to where they can get that chemistry down. But I definitely see the Jets making the playoffs. And number 1, Miami Dolphins. That offense if they get Jonathan Taylor, because the Miami Dolphins, they're the pretty much the favorites to get Jonathan Taylor at this point. If they get Jonathan Taylor, they're coming out of the AFC. No doubt, shadow of my mind, they're coming out of the AFC. Okay. The AFC West, I think the Raiders are going to finish last in that division. I think the Broncos are going to finish second in that division. I think the Chargers will finish third in the division. And I think Kansas City is going to win that division. But we're gonna get back to those other two teams in the division. The AFC North, by far the hardest one to predict. Cleveland at 4. I don't believe in Cleveland. I think Cleveland's overrated personally. You have Myles Garrett, but Deshaun Watson in the limited time that he played last year looked absolutely horrible. Yes, he missed a year, due to, the suspensions and everything. But, it wasn't injuries, and I know he was still getting reps while he wasn't playing. I just don't believe in Cleveland. Number 3, this is tough. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers finished third, and it pains me to say that because from what I've seen in the postseason, they've been one of the best teams. I think Kenny Pickett has gotten better. I think that offensive line has gotten better. The defense is going to be top 3 in the league for sure. It's just going to be on what the offense does production-wise. Number 2, I'm actually going to go with shocker here. I'm going to go Cincinnati finishes second. I think all the weapons Lamar has this year is going to turn out to really help him. He has Odell. He has, other weapons. He has J.K. Dobbs at 100%. And I think now that he got his money, he's going to ball out. And I think Lamar's got a great shot to win MVP this year. But I got Baltimore winning that division. Okay, so my AFC 4 division winners, okay, are the Miami Dolphins. They are the Baltimore Ravens, Jacksonville Jaguars, and the Kansas City Chiefs. Okay, my 3 wild cards coming into the AFC playoffs. First one, I'm gonna go Cincinnati. I think Cincinnati is good enough to still get in, maybe not win the division, but I could go vice versa with Cincinnati and Baltimore. I think both teams get in, whether one wins one's gonna win the division, one's gonna get in as a wild card. Okay, at 6. Okay, I'm going to go the New York Jets. I like the Jets offensively and defensively now. I think they're going to be one of the better teams in football. I just think they're going to lose those head-to-head matchups against the Dolphins, which is going to hurt them in terms of winning the division. Okay, now, the teams that I have fighting for this last spot are tough. I got Pittsburgh, I got the Broncos, and I got the Chargers. Out of the 3, I think the Chargers are going to take a step back this year. I think Herbert's going to have a phenomenal season. I just don't think it's going to be enough. So I have the Chargers missing the playoffs. So now I'm down to the Broncos, and I'm down to Pittsburgh for that 7th spot. Now, I didn't even mention Buffalo, but I don't think Buffalo's going to make the playoffs this year. I just don't. From what I've seen in the offseason, in the draft, and in preseason, I'm going to go Pittsburgh. I think Pittsburgh finds a way to get in. It's just like Carolina in the NFC. I don't know how Pittsburgh does it, but Pittsburgh gets in. I believe in that defense. I think Kenny Pickett is going to take a step forward this year. They fixed the offensive line issue that they had last year. I think Najee Harris is going to be better this year. They've revamped and made that defensive line even stronger. Plus, you got TJ Watt back there and Micah in the secondary. I think Pittsburgh finds a way. Now, I know I said if the Dolphins get Jonathan Taylor, they're for sure coming out of the AFC. This one's tough because my three possible teams to come out of the AFC is the Baltimore Ravens, the New York Jets, and the Miami Dolphins. I think the Chiefs losing the division round this year. I think teams are going to figure out Kansas City's offense this year. But it's going to come down to offensive production. And who do I believe in more? Do I believe in Tua? Do I believe in Rodgers? Or do I believe in Lamar? Now, both have been very up and down in their careers. But if Tua stays healthy, I think regardless, it's going to be the Dolphins. It's going to be the Jets in the AFC Championship game. And I think the New York Jets win the third matchup. I think they're going to lose the first two to the Dolphins this year. And they win in the AFC Championship game in Miami. And I think it's Aaron Rodgers versus Dakota Prescott for the Super Bowl. Now, this is tough because when Rodgers won his first Super Bowl, the defense played a large factor in him winning. Now, Rodgers was great, but that defense played great. I think it's going to come down to the defense. And in terms of secondary, in terms of defensive interior linemen, I think the Cowboys have the edge. I think the Cowboys have the better back. I think quarterback, I'd have to go with Rodgers. But, and I can't believe I'm saying this, I think after 27 years, or it'll be 28 by the time the Super Bowl is, I think the Dallas Cowboys win the Super Bowl this year. I've never said that, and I'm not biased. I just think the Cowboys did all the right moves. Okay, they made the offense stronger, and that team was top 2 in every offensive category, or top 3 in every offensive category last year, and they got better. Okay, I think Tony Pollard's going to have another Pro Bowl season, but I think the Cowboys find a way this year, and maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm just reading too much into the hype, but ladies and gentlemen, like I said, after 28 years, I think the Dallas Cowboys win the Super Bowl for the 2023-2024 season. And ladies and gentlemen, that's the video. Feel free to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. We're about 70 subscribers away from 200. Okay, share this video, tag your friends, tag your coworkers, get them involved in the video. Comment on it. Who do you think is going to win the Super Bowl? Who do you think is going to make the playoffs? Okay, what do you think of my predictions? Okay, let me know, guys. And until next time, you guys have a good one.